What's good, everybody? It's full time trip. We are back in the building. Manchester United won, Arsenal won at Old Trafford, the worst place potentially in this entire world. And yeah, come out with a draw. Honestly, a very frustrating performance, up and down. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But frustrating is the word that really comes to mind, honestly. And it's just from so many little things that some of them are out of our control, but mostly it's ours. I think mostly it's the tangible things that we've seen from honestly a long time ago, and things that rear their ugly head pretty often, especially when we come up to certain things again, mid and low block, and trying to find our way around these issues, these systems that continually give us problems. And yeah, it's just a lot. Some things are simple, some things are complex, and the timeline is gonna be on fire today, y'all. So just keep y'all head. Keep y'all head. The timeline will be absolutely on fire, no question. But I'm trying to be level-headed about it, or as level-headed as I possibly can. But looking at the game, again, most of that first half, I think the opening 5 minutes were really, really good. A lot of rotations, a lot of really good picks and pops over their back line into space. Just didn't have that final touch to get through, settled into the game, had a couple of touchy situations, but mostly the game was played almost virtually in United's own half. And we get through it. We're just picking our way through, trying to find some good chances. I can't remember anything specifically off the top of my head in terms of chances in that first half, but wild ball goes towards our defensive half in probably like extra time, the stoppage time in the first half. Fouls given, which I thought was a little bit tenuous given. Lindelof was choking Marino, and he didn't get a call for that. So I was like, all right, whatever, fine. But as soon as the wall was set up, I feel like you could just feel it in your bones that this free kick was going to go in. I don't know why, but again, I feel like everybody was on the same wavelength of like, bro, this is definitely going to go in to be against the run of play. And lo and behold, it was. Positioning, I don't even know what that was from Raya. The wall, I don't even know. I don't even want to comment, but I think it was more positioning than wall, but both were a factor. Whatever you want to call it, it's 1-0. We go into the half frazzled. And I'm thinking there needs to be a bit more bravery on the ball. There needs to be a bit more of just consistent insistence from certain players, and maybe from players we don't even have to a degree, to help get a result and help get us in dangerous positions consistently, where we can move into these spots and then convert in these spots. And it just was something that I wanted to see. Again, bringing on what's it called? Possibly a Zinchenko, Miles Lewis-Skelly, who did come on. Somebody in that left 8 taking Partey off would have been my suggestion, but again, I'm just a regular guy, you know what I mean? But whatever, we keep it pushing into the second half. Got a lot more loose from there. I think they got even more aggressive. They turned up the heat, up their positions, got a bit higher up the pitch to try and meet us. And if they couldn't, they would retreat into the low block. I think it was a much worse game in the second half for us, because we were losing duels. They were finding ways to break through. And it was a very tough set of opening minutes. Again, we found our way back onto the ball in certain patches, but there were a lot more lapses and breaks from United and frailties from us defensively that caused just some very, very unsavory moments. Again, some really clutch saves from Raya in there, some really clutch moments from Declan Rice at the end to keep us in the fight. But then, as we're introducing more substitutions, Kieran Tierney comes on. I believe Martinelli came on, which it actually was, pretty good to see an extra attacker back, or one of our attackers back. It was good to see him get some minutes back on the pitch. I thought those changes were generally positive in terms of our setup, in terms of what we could, spring out in quick order in the final third. And all it took was somebody simply beating their man on the wing, getting a ball into Declan Rice, and then he curls it in to the left-hand side of the post, and in. It's 1-1. And then, the rest of the game unfolds. Some spooky-ass moments, in a lot of strenuous situations. But, again, frustrating is the word I keep coming back to, because there's just you just feel like we're hitting that wall over and over and over again. You're hitting that wall of, we know we can create good situations and we can sustain possession and we can pin people back, but when teams set up to expect this, who are the people that are going to show the incentive to carry the ball into dangerous positions, and who's going to have the consistent, lethal quality to finish the chances that they're on the end of, or ask proper questions of the goalkeeper and the defensive line to either step up and create a pocket behind them and try and stop us, at the edge of the D or just outside the box or just off for the left and find a good quick move. Again, or not. Who's going to be in those positions? Who are going to be those guys? And it's so frustrating seeing that over and over again. We just don't have it in our ranks. Without Saka, we don't have it in our ranks. I thought this was typified in a little 5-second spell when Miles Lewis-Skelly was on the pitch. I think he got the ball from somebody on the left-hand side. It might have been Gabriel or whatever. But he turned, took a daring run, put his head down a little bit, and started charging towards the center of the box, center of the D. Got past one, past two, and fouled in a dangerous position right there. Part one, that typified the level of ball carriers that we need in this side. We shouldn't have to rely on left backs to do it. And again, Miles Lewis-Skelly is traditionally an 8, but you understand what I'm saying. In the position, we shouldn't have that be our only foundation. That should be an additive. That should be an additional. You know what I mean? That should be an elective on top of the base of what we already have in terms of dangerous ball carriers and people who can make situations happen on their own with their dribbling from the front. That's where I'm at. And it's so frustrating to see that happen over and over again, where we're looking for, again, ball carrying from Calafiori and Miles Lewis-Skelly and Declan Rice, when there are other people who should be taking other positions that need to be leading on that front. They need to be the foundation of that front. They need to be at the forefront of those actions to make things happen for all of us, and make the supplemental players who are making late runs or who could be useful at the other end of it. They can add on to what's already there, add on to the payload. Just the fact that we don't have that level of ball carrier right now, again, without Saka, it just feels so scarce. That's the word I'm looking for. Scarce in terms of that. Beating a player, which kind of also coincides with carrying the ball a little bit. Like beating a player, again, it's just it's not even there consistently. Again, consistent lethality when it comes to these certain attributes and abilities. Again, Ethan's only 17, so again, he's a great talent, but I'm not gonna give him all the shoulder of the bear, shoulder of the weight of the world, two shoulder, I mean, and just let that ride. You know what I mean? Again, him being stuck out wide is not where he's going to be as strongest. Again, he does have attributes of a forward, but I think him being more inside would probably be, again, more conducive to him having more success. But outside of that, again, Trossard, I don't think is going to beat his man. He wasn't beating his man. I feel like he had a really cold game. I think it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't impactful. It wasn't the things that we want to see. So there's that, and we're just missing that level of just chaos creation that can bring everybody in and transmit that level of, we can make something happen, or I can make something on my own. Y'all just be ready and be prepared to do it, and be prepared to convert whatever's being created right now, or be alert to spring to some of these moves. I want that to be there in full, consistent lethality when it comes to dribbling, when it comes to getting past the player. You know what I'm saying? So there's carrying the ball, dribbling the player, and stuff like that, and ball striking, which we already know is a consistent problem. We already know we already know what it is, man. So if some of those cutbacks were from seasons prior, that would have been goals already. We would have came out of this game 3-1 if some of those cutbacks were from players in prior season form. If if Odegaard was in 2022-23 form, if Odegaard was last season form, those would have been gone. You know what I'm saying? Tucked away. But just the level of sheepishness. I feel like sometimes some of these players don't even realize they have feet in the final third. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not confident. It's just very timid. It's not there. It's not consistent lethality. That's what I'm saying. And without Saka, we're a long way off when it comes to that, bro. It's not hard to tell. It's not hard to tell, man. We don't have that. We don't have a striker that's a focal point that can, really potentially make things happen. Again, Havertz is out, so facilitating that and being in the right place at the right times is out of the question. When it comes down to it, it's just consistent lethality when it comes down to what's missing from this side. We don't even have a proper foundation of it without Saka, without Gabriel Jesus, but without players that we don't even have at this point in time. And that's going to be something that Andrea Berta, the ownership, all of them people, they need to address in the summer immediately. That has to be a prime directive, bro. It is right there. Sign a left winger, sign a striker, make sure we're all good in attacks and somebody, especially in low block situations. Consistent ball strikers, chaos creators on the dribble. And that should be where all the focus is. That should be where 90% of the focus is, and we'll figure out the rest later. Like, that's where I'm at. But there's that. And back to the game, I guess. It just feels like the second half was definitely a loss of basic principles. Like, again, we had a lot of defensive solidity, of course, across the season. But it just feels like in that second half, a lot of things just unraveled, broke apart, and it was not the best of situations. And I feel like it just felt like we gassed out in a second, or for a second. I don't even, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, bruh. Just felt static. And again, we had our position, and once that goal went in, I felt like it was more, we just lost momentum. We just waned as the game went on, and it took some very, very solid substitutions to try and push us away from that momentum and try and push back against that momentum going against us. So it was that, man. It just feels flat. I think a lot of that stems from the fact that we don't have the head of the snake. The head of the snake isn't there, and it hasn't fully been there for a good little bit now. Again, you can pinpoint it to Saka, but Saka's injury, but not topping up and getting the attack that we need, getting the attacking what's the word I'm looking for here? Getting the consistent lethality, getting the unstoppable signings. Saka is an unstoppable player, but he's not necessarily a signing because he came in the academy. But those unstoppable players, case in point, literally the entire game can be typified in the actions of Bruno Fernandes on that free kick and everybody else. We are by far and away the better team against Manchester United, obviously. But there is just enough superstar quality in just one of their players, not even multiple, just one. Just enough ball striking to get them out of dangerous situations. Bruno Fernandes will get them out of a situation time and time again. Like, I will say, in 2/3 of the pitch, you know what I mean? He cannot touch other midfielders, blah, blah, blah. I can discredit, Bruno all I like in other areas of the pitch. But the final third, you can't really say much to him because he will show up whether you like it or not. He just insists his will on the final third. Free kicks, long range, short range, find the right pass, right time, right power, whatever you want. That superstar quality, that bailout quality. Only Saka has it, and he's not here. And creating that much emphasis on Saka, we can't have that. We need the baseline competence and then superstar quality on top of that competence to make a side that is truly a threat in all phases of play. 2/3 of the job are kind of done. There's still, again, the ball carrying that needs to be an issue that's solved, but a lot of that can come from the front. A lot of that can come from certain, midfield additions. It's just the head of the snake now. That's what's been really missing. Really creating a formidable head of the snake. Somebody that can complement on the other side of Saka that is, again, a chaos creator. Somebody that can make things happen. Somebody that can, again, be a consistent, lethal presence in the final third to make other people guess, to do spontaneous things on that side, to create a bit more chaos or a bit of a decision, a headache, a bit of a confusion in the defenses that we come up against. Where is that? That's what we've been missing for a long time to pair and build with Saka. And on top of that, lethal ball striking, point blank period. Who can finish the ball? How many cutbacks that we had today? How many headed chances and good crosses that we had today, bro? Like, just fell. Nothing. Wide. Dead. Lame. How many of those did we have? I don't want to see those anymore. I want to see consistent, lethal ball striking, bro. Like Podolski's. You know what I'm saying? Rambo. Like, we had some lethal ball strikers. And again, I don't want to bring up that whole argument about, oh, times were better in the Wenger days or blah, blah, blah. But we got to have some confident players when it comes to shooting. Right now, again, when you looked at that pitch in the second half, Declan Rice was the only person I could say was a confident ball striker. That's it. That's the only person I could say. And that has to change. That's not good. It's not good enough for a side that is coming so close to, again, capturing major trophies and being in these competitions. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And it's something that we got to top up on in the summer. You know, and we just got to figure it out. Just got to figure it out, point blank, period. But I do want to leave this game with some positives. Outside of the calamity on the free kick, I thought David Raya was fantastic. I thought he was really, really clutch when it comes to those saves, man. As much as he put people in a state of worry, he, I think, put a lot of those worries to bed with those clutch saves. The Xerxes flick was onto that. The end of the game, I think either Collier or Hoyland was one, and then Collier was another one. But the Hoyland one was more another person, than which I'll get to as well. But I thought David Raya saving it was really, really clutch, man. You got to give it up for him. As much as he caused a problem and again caused that goal to concede, he kept us in the game where we easily could have lost if those things went in and he wasn't in, you know, the right frame of mind that he was. So, you know, there's that. And my player of the match, I think is Declan. It's got to be Declan, in my opinion. The guy who, again, literally kept us in the game with a wonderful goal, wonderful strike. And he kept us in the game at the other end of the pitch with a wonderful defensive action to keep out Hoyland. I mean, what? I don't ever want to hear too many complaints, and I'll still stand on that. In the hard times and the good, we paid too little for this guy. We probably should have paid a little bit more, but whatever. Y'all can say what y'all want. Y'all can say awkward conversation, blah, blah, blah. I know what midfield configurations are probably best for Arsenal in my heart. You know what I'm saying? I got my opinion. I'm going to stick to it. I know what players should and should not, you know what I'm saying, be in that lineup. But whatever. I don't even want to speak like that too much. But the further we go into the season, I think just a profile like Rice, somebody like Rice is so key to us keeping afloat, keeping our level, keeping our head, and trying to go and get more. He's such a consistent presence. And that's what I want. I want class, consistent presence. Somebody who's always going to pick up and always be prepared to make a moment happen. That's what I want to see. Saka's definitely one of them. Rice is one of them. I think Saliba and Gabriel defensively are one of them. That's what I want, man. And we need more of that for our attack. Or else we're going to be stuck just close within touching distance but falling short. No. So there's that, man. But at this point, probably only the Champions League to look at and see. We got to fix up a lot of these things and figure some things out if we want to be in the best poised position for Champions League. Got to finish off this next tie against PSV, or the next leg of the tie against PSV, and then we'll figure out which of the Madrid clubs we'll potentially be facing if all goes well. And yeah, we'll keep it pushing, man. We'll keep it rocking till the wheels fall off, bro. But today, I feel like people understood that they might not have feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't say till y'all feet fall off, man. Just the wheels, man. Y'all can shoot, I promise. But let me know what you thought of the match in the comment section below. Get back to me with your man of the match, probably your top moment. Just any thoughts that you might have about the match and how we are continuing into the rest of the season. But until then, hey, that's all the time I got. It's been full-time trip. Catch y'all later, man. COIG.